Hey guys, Bob here again, and today I am going to talk to you guys a little bit about mounting up an Arken EP5 with a set of Arken Halo rings on a real common setup, which is a Remington 700 and many Remington 700 footprint type rifles as far as mounting your rails on top. So what I've got is a new Arken EP5 fresh out of the box and a couple common setups for people with their precision packs. So I have a set of low halo rings and a set of the medium halo rings. And what I'm going to do is mount these both up on this Arken EP5 on top of this Remington 700 with a full rail. This rifle has a 20 MOA rail on it and a heavier varmint profile barrel. So I'm going to mount these two ring sets on this rifle with this optic and let you guys view the height differences and the clearances that we get from this setup. And you can decide when you get your EP5 or your SH4 Gen 2 what ring height might be best for you. So let me flip this camera around. I'm going to start messing around and hooking these ring sets up on this rifle and get some measurements for you guys. So let's get to it. Okay, so here we have both sets of rings. So we have got our medium rings right here, and we've got our low rings. You don't need a lot to do this. You will want to have a inch-pound torque wrench if you don't have one. The ring sets do come with a handy little the bit in there if you're just inclined to use that bit to install them. But I would recommend an inch-pound torque wrench to do this right. You're going to need your scope. And in this case, you're going to need your rifle. And this rifle has a full rail on it. And it does extend some past the action over the barrel. And that's going to impact our mount a little bit based on how far the bell on the EP5 is going to hang over. So your rings come with a couple extra screws. They're well marked, so you're not going to mix them up. If you notice our 1.26 on there and our 0.92 on here. Again, they come with a little wrench to use. So there you go. So let's start this out first. We'll try this out with these. Let's go with the low rings first. We're going to try these low rings out on here. Set this thing up. We'll move over to the medium and see how she sits on this varmint profile barrel. Okay, and we have the setup all mocked up with nothing torqued of the EP5 sitting on top of a set of the Halo low rings. Now, if we point out a few of the key areas on this setup, it may help you decide if this is going to work for you. Now, in this chassis setup, with this full 20 MOA rail on here, we've got to look for clearance right here, we've got to look for clearance here, and we also have to look for clearance on the barrel. The other thing that's important to note is when achieving clearance here and here by sliding the scope fore and aft, we need to make sure that we have enough room for our eye relief when we have a cheek weld right here on the comb of the stock or on your chassis. So I can tell from playing around with this setup a little bit that getting this set here, I could move this ring back. However, the issue I've run into is the front situation. The scope wants to hit the bell of the scope, wants to hit the rail right here if I slide the scope far enough back to get the proper eye relief. So in my setup with this stock, my cheek ends up being towards the front edge of this where it's not ideally and not comfortable. So in my case, if I wanted to use these low rings, what I would end up doing is taking this 20 MOA rail and I would trim that front edge off. That would allow me clearance with the bell to take the entire thing, slide it back, and have this low height here. So again, this is the Arken EP5 mounted up in a set of Halo low rings on a Remington 700 with a 20 MOA rail on a varmint profile barrel. If I take this little Arken wrench, it'll just about fit through there, if that gives you an idea of how much room we have. The camera's probably not picking up on this, but I do have the scope slid just enough to have clearance in all of the areas. Now nothing's torqued down yet, it's just mocked up on here. But again, this is the EP5 with the 56mm bell sitting in the halo low rings on a Remington 700. So let me pull this off of here. Let me take these mediums and mock it up and see how it sets up. So let's do that now. Okay guys, and here we are with our Arken EP5 mounted up on a set of the Arken Halo medium height rings. And here you can see that we no longer have any clearance issues up underneath the bell. The scope could be moved quite a distance front or to the back. As well in the rear, there's no longer an issue of it hitting the rail here. So this is the medium rings, the halo rings. Lots of clearance on the barrel. And in this rifle setup, this Remington 700 sitting in a chassis with an adjustable cheek comb, we've got plenty of room to go, up with our cheek riser to get a nice planted mount here. So in this situation, we've got a little bit more height above the barrel. It's still in what people would say, generally probably the standard height that people are targeting. It's not unusually high. But again, these are the medium rings on a Remington 700, 20 MOA rail with a varmint profile barrel and the 56mm bell. Alright guys, so I hope this short video will help point some people in the right direction when it comes to ordering up your Arken rings for your new EP5. If you're going to get that precision pack and you're unclear as far as with going with the low, medium, or even possibly the high or the rigid mounts, I hope this content will help steer you in the right direction. If you are going to order up one of those precision packs, don't forget to use the code ROC. Randall and the Arken community will appreciate that and get yourself in the running for a free optic giveaway. Until then, please hit the like and subscribe button and stay tuned for some more content of setting up some rifles or pulling out and getting some trigger time. Stay warm.